proceed.
How are you? Darn good. Good. I'll tell you that day.
Yeah. Need him to use his weapon.
I'll see you on February.
I know, not,
Yes.
they have a whole hour for you.
A whole hour? That's
If you
even
want a
better.
whole hour, Jeff, if you want a whole hour,
I can talk for a whole hour.
Erin has set aside a whole hour.
She can vouch for that. I can talk as long as you want. But I'm looking forward to it.
No, it's good, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Glad we read.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Granville Exempted Village School District Board of Education organizational meeting. Please join me in the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take the roll.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Ms. Shaw? Here. Ms. Deeds? Here. Mr. Cron?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Well, I'll open up item number 4 by nominating Mr. Wolf to continue as president of the school board for the following year.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
All right.
And that just closed the nomination, so now we actually have to vote you in. So,
Take the roll, please.
You need-
You need a
Do I
motion?
need that?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, I'll continue and second the motion now to elect Fred Wolf as the president of the Granville Board of Education for 2025.
So we need a motion and a second. for
Motion
this
and
part.
second.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Now we're
Get
good.
it right.
Please take.
It's pretty year, right?
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
All right.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Number 5, we're on to the election of board vice president for 2025. Any member of the board may be nominated. Second's not necessary. Open for nominations.
I guess I can continue. I'd like to nominate Ms. Shaw to continue as vice president for the 2025 Board of Education year.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
All right.
Continuing down the road.
You're in a roll, Mr.
Now I'd like to approve the election of Ms. Shaw as vice president for 2025.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
All right. Ms. Shaw is elected vice president of the Granville Board of Education for 2025. Congratulations.
I can kind of walk through each item if you would like.
Sure.
Kind of as we do with the action agenda. So item 6 is the approval of board policies and regulations currently in effect rolling into the new year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Ms. Deeds? Aye. Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 7 is the adoption of the agenda and meeting notification procedures for notice of our organizational, regular, special meetings, and personal notice of meetings.
So moved.
Seconded.
Who had the second? Okay, all right, thank you. Any questions?
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 8, board member and designee assignments. As you will see, we have transitioned almost all the people either from their 24 assignments to 25. There are a couple of differences. Cecile is rolling off of the Granville Education Foundation, and Mr. Cronk will be moving on. And then all the other people, and I'd like to actually mention them for the record, but Brian Costa has been serving as our GRD trustee. Kirsten Fox has been serving as our Granville Community Foundation representative. Jeremy King is on our Granville Village Planning Commission. And Eric Smith has been our latest member of the new Community Improvement Corporation, or CIC, for economic development. So we appreciate all of their service. And then Brittany, Fred, and I are also woven in different committee assignments. But we do need the OSBA delegate and alternate.
I'll volunteer to be the alternate.
Okay. Well done, Thomas. Yes.
Nobody else is going to be at the meeting, maybe? Principals?
I'm always happy to do it if no one else would care to be the delegate.
You're in.
Okay.
Okay. So now that we've filled in all the blanks, would we like to get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
All right, next are the superintendent committee assignments. These are related to our benchmarks around whole child, world-class education, operations and resources, which has really transitioned to our strategic planning task force, finance, community, and diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. So this is where you get the opportunity to articulate what committees you might be interested in. As you know, we can only have 2 members on each committee, so that we do not violate sunshine.
I would like to continue on the whole child.
Any issues with that? I don't think so. Thank you.
I'll pick last, so the rest of you take your choices and I'll fill in, please.
If the Operations and Resources Committee is a strategic planning group, I'd love to continue on that. Likewise, I've been involved in the Finance Committee in the past, and would love to continue on that if that's okay.
I'd like to continue on the strategic planning too. I thought that was sort of separate, but
So most will have 2, 2 will have 3, if I did my math correctly, assignments. If we're assigning 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Cecile, would you like to?
Sure, yeah, world-class education.
Okay.
You don't have to select 2.
Yeah, I'll stick
Okay.
with that for now.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. Can you remind us the community committee? I'm drawing a blank.
That really has been more of like a communications committee, and with our recent, I would say the last 2, the benchmark, or benchmark 5 and 6, have been the least active committees, because we really haven't had pressing issues that we need to pull those committees for, and like strategic planning and some of those others have taken the place of some of the work that takes place in those committees from a communication standpoint. So,
And it also depends, I think, now, I think this through, what the state asked from us.
right.
I felt like world-class education needed to step up when the state changed some requirements around the science of reading. So, okay, that makes sense, yep.
I'd like to continue on the finance committee with Mr. Miller, as well as perhaps pick up the whole job committee with Ms. Dees.
Oh, good. We're meeting tomorrow evening at 6:30.
3 nights in a row.
What's the policy on rescinding?
You're in,
Okay.
you're in. I wrote it in. It's in
So moved.
the- I'll do community committee.
And I guess I would encourage you to kind of just send out notifications if these are up and coming, if it's one of these that, where I'm sure we're all passionate about, my PDI, world class, and there's not 2 other members, just to make sure that as many of us as possible can attend.
Yep.
So if you just keep us in mind of what those meeting times are, that'd be great.
Sure.
And I'm happy to be on diversity, equity, and inclusion as well.
Okay, thank you. Is that it? If so, we can make a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, everyone. Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item 10 is board member compensation, which is at the rate of $50 per week, which has been the standard, I believe, since 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 11 is the resolution to create the service fund for the board, about $3,000.
So moved.
Second.
And just so for your information, that's where we pay your OSBA, capital conference fees, and all the associated professional development.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 12 is the resolution to establish board meeting times, dates, and locations. So you have the list of meetings. Typically, we are meeting on the 3rd Monday of every month. However, there are variations within this agenda for a variety of different reasons. But those have been sent out by Janelle previously, so hopefully there are no conflicts. Or if there are conflicts, we will work around.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 13 is really the standing authorizations for the calendar year, which is almost a consent agenda, A through, I believe, I. No, L.
Yeah.
No. So those authorizations include the hiring and accepting the resignations, paying bills, operating the finances of the district, performing the day-to-day operations that the superintendent and treasurer handle every single day. So
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn the organization?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Crum?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Wolf is really trying to get a meeting under like 10 minutes.
I
Yeah.
think that counts.
That definitely.
That was good.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of of the Granville Exempted Village School District Board of Education. Would you please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy New Year and welcome to everyone to tonight's meeting. Second meeting. Could you take the roll, please?
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Ms. Shaw?
Here.
Ms. Deeds?
Here.
Mr. Cronk?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So,
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Commendations.
Okay. All right, so we have one commendation this evening, and it's related to the Board of Education. So as you are aware, this is School Board Recognition Month of January to build awareness and understanding of the vital role our elected board members play in our society. I know that I say this very often, but in case you don't hear it, we appreciate you tremendously and all the work that you do to help us govern our school district, but it's not about governance, it's about leadership. And the evidence on leadership is pretty conclusive, it matters. And the fact that you have consistently held firm on the mentality of continuous improvement in Granville schools and putting children first and listening to your constituents on a regular basis and providing that feedback to the administrative team, it's been absolutely the recipe for success. And so I know there are probably other superintendents and treasurers saying that they have the best board in Ohio, but I believe that we have the best board in Ohio. So thank you very much. You do get this generic certificate of appreciation from the Ohio School Board Association. But as you know, we are a learning organization, and therefore, in the tradition that I started several years ago, you get books that we have either been utilizing in cabinet or leadership to kind of guide our thinking about educating our students. And so we read every single year, much to the chagrin of the administrative team and our treasurer, multiple books, because I believe that if you don't continuously learn, you don't know how to lead into the future of education. So the book is Learner-Centered Innovation. It's really, really interesting, but it was written several years ago, but it's kind of the roadmap that we followed without us actually reading the book. So that's kind of also interesting validation of some of the strategic moves that we've made. Right here you go.
You wrote something different in yours.
Don't look at each other's because you realize in all sincerity, I joke with you often, but you do a fantastic job, and we really do appreciate the amount of effort that you put in. I know, like this week, specifically, you have tonight. The two of you now have tomorrow. All of us will be back Wednesday evening for the January 15th community event to look at the facility master planning process and look back at the last 2 years of the strategic planning task force. If the community is listening, if anybody's watching, please encourage your friends, neighbors, and community members to attend January 15th. We are going to be providing a lot of information to the community about what's happening within our community related to growth. So please attend that meeting. So Thank you very much for all that you do, and it's a pleasure to work with such a competent Board of Education, so thank you.
Thank you.
Which takes us to our staff reports. What?
Well, we just did the power.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will, as Gwen is setting up, I will just share, her presentation is really as ODEW goes through their policy review process for special education services and model policies. They recommend certain changes. It goes through a comment period and then it comes to us. They're not necessarily in formal policy, but it's more operating standards and model policy. But we felt it's important to go through some of the changes. And then there is an action item associated with this, with these policies.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gwen Spence, I'm the Director of Student Services. Part of my job is to work through our services for students who have disabilities, so under special education. As Mr. Brown indicated, periodically the Department of Education and Workforce will update their operating standards, including some regulation things and some things with law. And so, maybe not.
Do down.
Down? Okay, absolutely. That makes much more sense, thank you. So, just so that you're aware, we are governed by a federal law under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And then states do have some parameters that they are allowed to be, they can add in regulations that go above and beyond the federal law. Ohio has done that consistently for many, many years. And so part of this reorganization of their operating standards is to try to bring it a little bit more in line with federal law. So the changes are not substantive in the sense of how we deliver our services. That's not going to necessarily change. And so they've also tried to remove some of the duplicate language that's in language. As you may be aware, if you've ever experienced the world of special education, you're the wordiest people on the planet. So it is a 200-page document that guides us, but I just want to make sure you guys know what things we are talking about before you vote on this item. So there were a number of items that were added, removed, or amended just because of the changes in federal law. Changes in state law, bringing things into line with what the legislature has done versus what ODEW has given us as the kind of the how to do our job. So again, not overly large, but they did update some of the definitions in here. One of the most impactful changes for our students is in the past, the federal law has always allowed us to keep students in special education if they meet the criteria under the developmental delay category. In Ohio, you had to end that access when they turned 6. They could not keep a student in that category coming into kindergarten. Now, for some of our students, we could not find another appropriate school age category because they didn't meet another category. The state has now revved up to what the federal law is, and they're now at age 9. So we have kids who have needs that will be transitioning to us in kindergarten, but we're not exactly sure what the category would be the most appropriate. So keeping it under developmental delay allows us to continue to get to know that student in kindergarten and then reevaluate with the team that works with them every day to figure out if they continue to need that support and services. So that is probably the most important change that happened. They also added some things along the lines of surrogate parents, and those are requirements that we have when we are unable to locate a parent for signature in special education. We then have to appoint somebody who plays that role during our team meetings and signs off for that student. County workers, foster parents, folks like that are not allowed to be considered surrogate parent. They have a different vested interest in the student. It has to be somebody who does not have a vested interest in that. It is somebody who's more neutral, not employed by any agencies. It also talked through some of the language around what's the definition of district of residency. That is a lifelong debate sometimes in special education as to kind of who owns the student, especially in foster situations, group home placement, residential placements, things like that. So they did a lot of kind of clarification around that residency issue. Again, not a major impact to us, but it's an important piece that they need to update. There was a new section added specific to our IEPs. In the past, when kids are over the age of 14, we actually shift and write IEPs that have more to do with the post-secondary, employability, and independent living skills, and how their disability impacts that. The state has required us to do progress monitoring on the goals that we set there. This clarifies that it's actually not required in law. So that's, again, not going to change any of our practices. We were already doing that work, but it's something that was concrete that they did change. And then the other piece about parentally placed students in non-public schools. As you may know, we have Welch Hills and Granville Christian Academy that are in our district. It's our responsibility as the district of residence of where those schools are located that we evaluate if either one of those schools identify a student who has a potential disability. So we're under obligation to make sure that we do that and that that's under our purview. Again, clean up the language to make it very clear who's responsible for those non-public students when there's a concern raised on that disability lines. And as you know, GCA accepts federal funds, and so we have a little bit different relationship with them just because of the fact that we are providing some services in that building. Welch Hill just refers when they have a student that they have a need or a concern about. And then the delivery of services. There was a number of things that really needed to be updated in this. Again, not going to change our practices, but it just clarifies some of that language. And when you're trying to work through a situation, you want language to be as clear as you can in special education. It's not always. We use the words like appropriate, and we have to figure out kind of what that means. So they kind of cleaned that language up in Ohio law to match federal law at this point. And then there was one little caveat where they talked about privately owned vehicles and who can transport kids in privately owned vehicles. Obviously, we do not do this in the school district. That's not something that we would do. We have our transportation department take care of any transportation, but it needed to be clarified by the law, or in the state law, excuse me. Any questions on those changes at this time? Okay, great, super, thank you. Brittany, I'll leave this with you.
And as Brittany transitions, I just want to comment specifically on Glenn's role in facilitating and shepherding that department. There are a lot of changes. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved. There are a lot of deadlines, timelines, and things to keep track of. And Gwen and her department do a fantastic job of keeping us not only compliant, but also thinking about the impact of their services on the kids. So she does a tremendous job. I don't get the opportunity, much like you, to thank her for her service to the community and the students that she serves, but she does a fantastic job. So, thank you, Gwen.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Okay. Jumping into the December financial report. First, looking at our cash balance, we are a little over $1.1 million over where we were last December. So we are still continuing to grow our cash balance, although we are at one of the lowest points in our cash balance cycle throughout the year. Looking at revenue for the month of December compared to last December, we are within $4,000 of where we were last year, this month. So really not a lot to say there. We are right in alignment. Year to date, revenue for local taxes, that includes the income tax as well as the property tax. As we talked about previously, both of those items are up over prior year. The inside millage is driving the property tax component as well as new construction, and then the income tax is recovering from where we were down prior year. Seed funding, we're continuing to see some variation with timing in that line item, but that should resolve by the end of the fiscal year. On the expenditure side, Similar situation, although the magnitude is a little bit higher than on the revenue side, just because salary and benefits are such a large portion, and that increase is driven by changes in staffing as well as steps and base increases. So we would expect to see that increase year over year. Expenditures year to date, same story for salary and benefit line item. Purchase services, as we've talked about before, of course we have inflation, as well as some of our contracted services with special education services have increased. So that's driving the purchase service line item over prior year. And then all other expenses, that line item is down over prior year. That's the timing and amount of the capital projects transfers that we have done. So when we do more of our apples to apples comparison, excluding those transfers, expenditures are actually about $1.5 million over prior year. That's in alignment with the forecast and what we've talked about every month. So that's a little bit of a better comparison than the $86,000 that you see on the slide. Capital projects fund, we are down to one project in here, and that's the air handler 1 and 5 at the high school. That's anticipated to be completed over the summer, so there's probably not going to be a lot of movement as far as actual expenditures on this for the next couple of months, but just wanted to keep that on the radar. And then our cash reconciliation for the month, and that is it, unless there's any other questions or comments. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're now at the public comments portion of our meeting. Excuse me. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. If anyone would care to comment, please step up to the podium and share your name and address, please. Okay, board discussion.
Facility master planning, if you haven't heard, there's this.
Is there a meeting Wednesday?
There's a meeting Wednesday, 7 o'clock at GHS Theater. It actually is identified as a special meeting of the Board of Education, so we will get to say the Pledge of Allegiance one more time to open that meeting. And the action item is really board discussion. So you will have the opportunity to, be involved in the presentation and conversation that occurs that evening. What I'm very excited about is the opportunity to tell the story of the planning and preparation that the board put in place almost 2.5 years ago in order to guide this community through growth that occurs either now or later. And the strategic nature that you will take to address future growth for future generations of Blue Aces. So I'm excited because our strategic planning task force that has almost 40 members will probably be present. Several of them will be part of the presentation to the community. And we will also have Fanning and Howie, who are our vendor that is leading us through the facility master planning process. But there are two goals, really, that we want the community to understand and walk out of that meeting understanding. One, what have we done? What information have we collected? And how does that information impact the future planning process? And then what is that future planning process? But it is really the first of 3 meetings. So it will be recorded, it will be time-stamped and put on our website so that people can access it later. But it is the first opportunity to kind of bring people up to speed about all the work that's been occurring related to enrollment, land use, fiscal, facility studies, all the work that the Strategic Planning Task Force has been doing on the behalf of the community. We're going to get to share some of that information. So I'm very excited to get that information out, start that community dialogue, and start to be proactive in, looking at the decisions that we will be faced with. as a governance team and as a community. So, any questions or discussion related to that?
There's a great article by the Reporting Project that's posted out there and things like that, that I think is a nice preview of some of the things that are going to be discussed and so forth. And hopefully that's inspiration for folks to come along, and that's been distributed and so forth. What's your sense? Are you getting feedback from people about attendance, and you think we'll have a good crowd there?
I do. I think some of the articles have helped drive some community conversations, backdoor fence conversations with neighbors. So I do think that we're going to have a decent crowd, which is excellent. And understand that at any point, if you miss the first meeting, we want you at the second meeting. If you miss the first and second, we want you at the third. No matter where you are in the process, we want every community member to be involved. We want to be transparent. We want to instill confidence in our planning process. And ultimately, their feedback and input comes to the board as far as options for future decision making. So I think the reporting project has helped significantly get that word out. I know the Advocate picked up a couple of their articles as well. So we're looking forward to the community conversation. Great.
I'd just like to reiterate to the public, I think there's a lot of vital information, important information that will be shared at all the meetings, but especially tomorrow, that I think will give everyone a true perspective of how Granville School District's going to look going forward, or could look. So I just encourage everyone to come by.
Okay. Action agenda.
Well,
Oh,
just a minute.
oh, all right, sorry. Sorry. Oh, I think I know what you're saying.
I just wanted to announce that the Granville Kiwanis approved a $60,000 donation for new scoreboards in the high school gymnasium. So working with Mr. Duvall and Ms. Wills over there, will go forward in their project. They'll be in by next fall, right? Probably?
Yes, most likely. We're planning on, as soon as basketball's over, getting them in to take down the old ones.
So once again, Kiwanis stepping up to the plate, Rotary.
Yeah, I have to tip my hat to Kiwanians in Granville. They do a fantastic job of not only their service mentality, but their dollars following their commitments. So thank you very much on behalf of the board.
No, we're excited to be able to participate anytime with the schools. Okay, action agenda.
Now I can. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you. All right, action item 10.01 is board policy adoption. We only have one related to executive sessions.
So
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
All right.
10.02 is the approval of the operating standards that Glenn just went through.
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
And then we have the consent agenda. 11.01 A through C4.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so a couple of donations. Obviously, we appreciate the grant from GEF for the teaching with ticks. Sounds awful, but I think I shared this with you before, but they're actually doing action research on tick populations with some school districts over on the eastern side of Ohio. But it's with Ohio State. It's in our biology class, and Mr. Burnett can geek out with you all you want on that project, but it actually is scientific research related to tick populations. And by the way, because we have the land lab, we do have tick populations that live out there because we have deer that traverse the path. So we're excited for that grant from GEF.
Is that outside the normal grant cycle, or is this a part of one of the normal
We
grants?
just missed it.
Yeah, okay.
On previous agenda.
Yep.
And then we always recognize our National Board Certified Teachers through a stipend each year. So Caleb, Mike, and Emily, congratulations to them. And then we have one rescission of a contract from last year. Last year, we did not have a comp cheer sport because we didn't have enough students participating. So we actually had to go back and rescind that contract and, because we did not pay that advisor because they didn't perform the service. So, and that's it. Oh, and we have one more bus driver on board. So
Always highlight that.
yes, absolutely. We appreciate the drivers that we have.
Okay, take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 12.01, approval of the December 2024 financial report.
So moved.
Second. Ms. Shaw?
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 12.02 is approval of the then and now resolutions.
So moved.
Second. So we have two then and nows this month. One's for book fair sales and one is for parts and supplies for the transportation department. So those are both over 3,000 from category approval.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Take the roll.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cron?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Thank you, everyone. See you Wednesday.
Wednesday.